Welcome back to the next Premiere Pro tutorial. We're going to continue video effect folder options, and today I'm going to work on rolling shutter repair, spherize, and transform. So let's get to work. We have some footage that we have already brought that on Premiere Pro. We're just going to see what happens if we bring these effects on our footage. So first of all, let me tell you something about rolling shutter repair, something that we have in here. If I bring that on my clip, you can see these kinds of options will be added to the source part, into the effect control. So let me tell you something. If you want to work with rolling shutter repair, normally if your camera is not moving, it doesn't do anything special for you. I have tested it over and over on clips and videos like this, because I normally do not move my camera. I don't make some kind of Gillo effect. This is normally used for those kinds of videos that have Gillo effect, or your camera is moving fast from left to right, from top to down. Sometimes if you want to move your camera, you can easily repair that rolling shutter or Gillo effect by bringing this on your clips. But normally if I have my camera fixed in front of me, it doesn't do anything on my clip, on my video, because I am always recording my videos as a content creator, and I'm not going to move my camera from one angle to another one. I'm not going to move it fast, so this is something that it's not useful for me. And you see that after bringing that on my clip, the area will be red, and I for sure need to pre-render it before continuing working with this roller shutter repair. So I'm going to ignore it because I don't have such movements of my camera for my clips or video, and I'm going to go right to spherize. Spherize is one of my favorite effects that I sometimes use, and you can easily do many things with that. If I come to the source part, you can see we have let me delete this rolling shutter repair, and I bring spherize on this. Yes, so we have something like radius center of sphere. As you can see, if I increase it, something like a sphere is happening, and it makes a kind of funny shape. You can add it to the mouse, but for the eyes it gives you kind of cartoon eye. Normally people who work with spherize add it to the eyes especially, and something like this will happen. If I want to show you, imagine I bring it on the eye and I make it somehow smaller. You can see it gives a kind of cartoon eye. I can double it, I can copy, spherize again, and I bring the other one on this eye. As you can see, something like that will happen. And if you want to put it on your video, especially as it's going, you can put some keyframes so that this will go on while your clip or video is going on. So because if I normally do that, as you can see, the spheres are staying where they are and they do not move based on my movement. So as you can see, there nothing happens. So little by little, when I play actually the clip, I can add keyframes for these spheres, and I can let them stay on the eye while it goes forward. So if I go back again, as you can see, something like this happens to the eye. You can even make your radius bigger. If I delete one of them, and you can make this one bigger, you can let that play like this on your video. If you put some keyframes, for example, if I put a keyframe, for example, here, and I go a bit forward and I bring it there, then I go a bit forward, I bring it here, go forward and there. If I go back to the beginning of this keyframing, you can easily see, if I play that, you see the sphere is moving, where it is going. Sometimes you see such effects are available on some programs, on some videos, on some even cartoons. You can add such kind of things, but one of the most common uses of this sphere is on eyes, and they make a kind of cartoon or something like a kind of gaming effect to the eyes. It's somehow funny, or you can add this effect on mouth, nose, or on the complete face, even, to make somehow a kind of funny way, a kind of comic view of your clip or video. So let's go to the transform. In transform part, you can do many things, like As you can see, I've brought it in here. Some parts like anchor point positions are like motion because they have also position, scale, and easily you can see we have position, scale, even rotation we have also rotation in the motion part. Some parts are the same, so I normally don't use it because the things that I need, I basically need something for my clip, and I can easily find them in motion part, which is at the beginning of the source panel. But when I get to some specific points in transform option, you can see we have something like skew, because while I play with that, you can see this is moving from angle to angle, or it gives a kind of shape like this. Sometimes you can make a transition with that. You can bring the scale, for example, to this and put a keyframe for that. Let me make this area a bit bigger. For example, here you can make a kind of scale. Then you come to the rotation part and you put another keyframe here. You go forward, then you increase the scale, for example, to this amount, and you give the rotation like this. You go a bit forward, increase the scale, and give the rotation like this, and continue the same process. So that's it. As you can see, I have now fit the clip into the view triangle, and now I'm gonna go back to see what happened. If I play this, you can see something like that is happening. So if you play with these dots and with these keyframes, you can increase the speed of rotation, you can decrease the speed of rotation, or you can somehow make your clip or video smaller, bigger. You can actually let that be somewhere specific. You don't want to be that big, or you don't want to be that small. It's all on you if you play with scale and rotation. All this is something you can easily do on motion part as well. As I told you, just I wanted to show you in here, you can easily do that in this part too, and in motion part from the beginning of this panel. But normally, if I delete all these things and I put them all back to normal and turn off these keyframes. So imagine you have a kind of flag bar somewhere into streets or into school or anywhere like that, and you want to add your video on a kind of flag or a kind of flaggy way. It moves like while the wind is going into a flag and move it, for example, like a kind of wavy way. So you can easily do such a thing like skewing it, make it smaller, and give a kind of skew axis. As you can see, it's moving like this. If you give a kind of keyframe, it exactly moves as it's moving, like I showed you how I gave keyframe for scale and rotation. And you can even make that smaller and give more skew, and then as you can see, it will rotate. It's kind of waving actually to your clip and video. So you can do such a thing, or maybe you can reduce this skew, and then if you do that, you can see it's moving like a kind of flag, not that much, but sometimes you can put it on some green screen flag while they're on a bar, and then it can move like a kind of wavy wave while the wind is going through the flag, for example. This is what you can do. Opacity is something that you also had it into the motion part from the beginning of this panel. As you can see, it reduces the opacity. And shutter angle is nothing special, but if you just use the composition shutter angle, you can have something automatic, something default, something that is added by the effect itself. But if you uncheck it, you can easily add the shutter angle based on what you want. And you can also bring, for example, a kind of text layer here. I write hello, for example. And as you can see, I can bring transform on this, and in here I can do lots of things like scaling. This is something that you could do into the motion part, and skew, as you can see, and even let that move like this. It's a kind of flaggy wave, as I told you. You can even put some keyframes for that and let your text move like this on your clip, on your footage, on your video, whatever you have. And also you can let that rotate. Rotation, scale, and position are like what we had in motion part, which is exactly here from the beginning of this panel, as I told you. But skew and something like skew axis, these things are somehow new in this transform part. You can also even mask the area that you want. For example, you want to mask some places like head or the eye or the ear, mouth, whatever you want, or something specific in your clip, and you add any of these effects for that, because I have already mentioned about masking into the other videos. So that's it for these video effects. They were so easy, they had nothing special. As I told you, rolling shutter repair doesn't do anything with me because my camera is not moving. Spherize give a kind of spherizing shape for my eyes, for example, mouth, or wherever. And for transform, you have something like a kind of motion panel, but actually some skew and skew axis are extra in this panel, and you can easily do them and use them for your clips or videos. So go back to the other tutorials in previous sessions from 1 to I think this is 13th one or 14th one, I'm not sure, but you can go and check it out. Don't forget to miss them and share it with others who want to start Premiere Pro tutorials from the beginning, and they are beginners actually, or even some content creators who want to know some video effect elements into Premiere Pro. And like the video if it was interesting for you, if you liked it actually, and don't forget to subscribe me. This is really appreciated, and wait for the next videos about video effect folder options, which are trouble in displays and twirl wrap stabilizer. For knowing about how and when the videos will be available, please ring the notification button. Thanks for joining Crypto Studio. Have a good day.